6 months had passed since that night in the safe police room. I had now become a completely different person. My new name was Kaito Nakamura, an ordinary Japanese name, with no suspicious history, no dark past. They gave me official documents saying I was born in Osaka, studied law at a local university, and had recently moved to Sapporo for work. Sapporo, a city in northern Japan, cold far enough from Tokyo to be safe. I lived in a small apartment in a quiet neighborhood, worked at a small law firm under my new name, lived a simple and ordinary life. But every day I felt alienated. I missed my true identity, missed my name, even missed that nightmare in Tokyo because at least it was real. I also missed Yuki and Kenji. I didn't know where they were, what their new names were, how they were doing. We were forbidden from contacting each other for protection, they said. But I followed the news eagerly. Takeshi Asakura's trial was the biggest story in Japan. Every day there were new developments, new testimonies, new evidence, new scandals. Takeshi was being held in a high-security prison awaiting his trial. His lawyers and he had the best lawyers money could buy, were trying everything to reduce the charges or delay the trial. But the public pressure was enormous. People were angry, demanding justice. Even some former Yakuza members testified against him, willing to get deals with the prosecution. Takeshi's world was collapsing around him. Then one morning in March, my phone rang, the secure phone the police had given me for emergencies only. I picked up. "Yes? Mr. Nakamura," an official voice said. "This is Inspector Yamada from the Witness Protection Unit. We need to meet with you. There's a development in the Asakura case." I felt a chill. What kind of development? "I can't discuss details over the phone. I'll send a car to pick you up within an hour. Please be ready." He hung up. I knew this day would come. I had promised to testify at the trial if necessary, but part of me was hoping it wouldn't be necessary, that the other evidence would be sufficient. But apparently it wasn't sufficient. Chapter 2. Return to Tokyo. The armored police car took me from Sapporo to the airport, where I boarded a private plane to Tokyo. Security was tight, 4 officers accompanying me at all times. Escort vehicles, every possible precaution. When we arrived in Tokyo, they took me directly to Special Police Headquarters, the same place where I had testified last time. There I met Inspector Yamada, a man in his 40s, stern face but kind eyes. "Thank you for coming, Mr. Nakamura," he said, using my new name. "I know this isn't easy. What happened? Why do I need to be here?" He sat behind his desk and opened a file. "Takeshi Asakura's trial is going well overall. We have damning evidence, many witnesses, everything, but his lawyers found a loophole." "What kind of loophole?" "They claim that the documents we obtained, those from his safe, were obtained illegally, without a search warrant, without official permission. So they're demanding they be invalidated as evidence." I felt panic. If those documents are invalidated, most of the case will collapse. Yamada completed. "We'll still have the drug charge from the port raid, but all the other charges, murder, corruption, money laundering, will be difficult to prove without those documents. So what do you want from me?" "We want you to testify. You and 2 other witnesses whom we assume are Kenji-san and Yuki-san under new names. You were the ones who entered the office and obtained those documents. We need you to testify exactly how you got them, why, and what you saw. But if I testify, I'll expose myself. Everyone will know who I really am." "Yes," Yamada said seriously. "And that's very dangerous. Although Takeshi is in prison, he still has followers outside. But we have a plan to protect you. After the testimony, we'll take you out of Japan completely. We'll arrange a new identity for you in another country, perhaps Canada or Australia. A completely fresh start." I thought for a long time. I had built a life here in Japan, even though it wasn't a real life. But if I didn't testify, Takeshi might be released or get a light sentence. Everything I had suffered, everything I had risked would be meaningless. "Okay," I said finally. "I'll testify. But I have one condition." "What is it?" "I want to meet the other 2 witnesses before the trial, Yuki and Kenji. I want to see them again." Yamada hesitated, then nodded. "I'll arrange that, but the meeting will be brief and monitored." Chapter 3. Reunion. That evening they took me to a safe house in the suburbs of Tokyo. It was a small house surrounded by a high wall with police patrols guarding the area. They led me into a simple living room, and there I saw them. Yuki was sitting on a couch looking completely different. She had cut her long hair into a short style and dyed it light brown. She wore simple Western clothes and looked thinner than I remembered, but her eyes were the same. Kenji was standing by the window, also looking different. He had shaved his beard, was wearing glasses, and looked like an ordinary office worker instead of a tough Yakuza man. When they saw me, they stood. For a moment, no one moved. Then suddenly Yuki rushed toward me and hugged me tightly. "Marwan," she whispered, using my real name. "I missed you so much." I hugged her too, feeling tears gathering in my eyes. "Me too." Kenji approached and patted my shoulder. "It's good to see you again, my friend." We sat together, and for the first time in 6 months I felt at home. "How has your new life been?" I asked her. "Strange," Yuki said with a sad smile. "They call me Misaki now. I live in Fukuoka, work in a small flower shop. It's a quiet, simple life, the opposite of everything I knew." "Are you happy?" She thought for a moment. "I'm not sure what happiness is anymore, but I'm free. And for the first time in my life, I'm not afraid all the time." I looked at Kenji. "And you?" "They call me Hiro now," he said with a wry smile. "I live in Kyoto, work as a security consultant for small companies. I use my knowledge of crime to help people protect themselves from it. Kind of ironic, isn't it?" We all laughed, a bitter but genuine laugh. "Tell me about the trial," I said. "What exactly do they expect from us?" "All 3 of us will testify," Kenji said. "We'll tell the whole story, how we discovered Takeshi's crimes, how we formed an alliance, how we entered his office and obtained the evidence. His lawyers will try to discredit us. They'll say we're criminals, traitors, unreliable. But we have the truth," Yuki said, "and the evidence speaks for itself." "When will our testimonies begin?" I asked. "In 3 days," Kenji said. "The trial has reached the critical stage. The prosecution has presented most of its evidence, and now it's time for the key witnesses, us." We were silent for a moment, each of us thinking about what awaited us. "Are you afraid?" I asked. "Terrified," Yuki admitted, "but also determined. Takeshi destroyed my life before I was born. It's time to see him pay the price." "I'm not afraid," Kenji said. "Rather, I'm excited. I'm going to look him in the eyes and tell him exactly how the person he trusted most betrayed him. And I said, just want all this to end. I want justice, and then I want to move forward with my life, wherever that may be." I extended my hand to the middle as we had done the first time. "Together?" Yuki placed her hand over mine. Then Kenji. "Together," they said, "until the end." Chapter 4. Trial Day. The appointed day came. Tokyo Central Court was surrounded by hundreds of journalists, photographers, and curious onlookers. It was the trial of the decade, and everyone wanted to be part of it. Kenji, Yuki, and I were brought in through a secret back entrance, surrounded by tight security. We wore bulletproof vests under our clothes, and the police had checked every corner of the building before allowing us to enter. They took us to a private waiting room. Through a TV screen, we could see the courtroom. It was huge and imposing, filled with people. On the platform sat 3 judges, 2 men and a woman, all looking stern and professional. The prosecution table was piled with files and documents, and the defense table. There I saw him, Takeshi Asakura. He was sitting between lawyers, wearing a simple gray suit. He looked much thinner than I remembered, his hair grayer, his face paler. 6 months in prison had left their mark. But his eyes were still cold, hard, defiant. He was looking at the judges without fear, as if saying, "You won't defeat me. I am Takeshi Asakura. I am stronger than your system." "He's still arrogant," Kenji whispered. "He thinks he'll get away with this." "He won't," Yuki said firmly. "Not this time." A court assistant entered our room. "It's time." The first witness, Miss Misaki Tanaka. That was Yuki's alias. She stood, took a deep breath, then looked at us. "Wish me luck." "You don't need luck," I said. "You have the truth." She smiled weakly, then left with the assistant. Kenji and I watched on the screen as she entered the courtroom. Complete silence fell over the place when she appeared. Everyone knew this testimony would be crucial. She sat in the witness stand, stood and raised her right hand. and swore to tell the truth. The prosecutor began his questions. Ms. Tanaka, can you tell the court about your relationship with the defendant, Takeshi Asakura? Yuki took a deep breath. I had a personal relationship with him. I lived with him for several years. And what was the nature of this relationship? I worked for him. I carried out theft and fraud operations against foreign tourists. He controlled my life completely. And why did you decide to testify against him? She was silent for a moment, then said in a clear voice, because I discovered the truth about my identity. She leaned forward. My real name is not Misaki Tanaka. My real name is Yuki Asakura. A wave of whispers spread through the courtroom. Even the judges looked astonished. I am the daughter of Kazu Asakura, who was the legitimate heir of the Asakura family, and the man who was killed by Takeshi Asakura to steal the family. The bomb had been dropped. Chapter 5. Testimony of Fire. Yuki's testimony continued for hours. She told everything: how she discovered her true identity, how she found documents proving that Takeshi killed her father and grandfather, how she lived with him for years without knowing he was her family's killer. The journalists in the courtroom were writing frantically. This was a story more dramatic than any movie. The hidden heiress, the killer who didn't know his victim was living with him all along. Takeshi's lawyers tried to discredit her testimony. Miss Asakura, one of them said sarcastically, isn't it true that you were a criminal, a thief, a con artist? Yes, Yuki answered calmly. I was a criminal, but I was also a victim. I was forced into it. Forced? Or did you choose a life of crime because it was easy and profitable? Forced, she repeated firmly. My family was in debt to Takeshi. He took me instead of the debt. He threatened to kill my family if I didn't obey him. Do you have proof of these allegations? Yes. Testimonies from my family members, threatening letters, records. They're all in the files submitted to the court. The lawyer tried to confuse her, but she remained calm, clear, coherent. Every question she answered with precision and confidence. After Yuki, it was Kenji's turn. He entered the courtroom and sat in the witness stand. When he looked at Takeshi, I saw an exchange of looks between them, a look of betrayal from Takeshi and a cold look from Kenji. Mr. Hirosato, the prosecutor began, using Kenji's alias. You were the defendant's right-hand man, correct? Yes, Kenji answered. I served him for more than 10 years. I was one of the closest people to him. And why did you decide to testify against him? Kenji looked directly at Takeshi. Because I discovered that he killed my father. Complete silence fell over the courtroom. My father was a police officer. He entered into a corrupt partnership with Takeshi, but he regretted it and wanted out. He wanted to expose everything. So Takeshi killed him and made it look like suicide. And how did you know this? I found documents in Takeshi's safe. A note in his handwriting that said, he knew too much. There was no other choice. He looked at Takeshi, his eyes full of anger and pain. I lived my whole life believing my father was a coward who committed suicide, and all along the killer was the man I considered a second father. Traitor, Takeshi suddenly screamed, standing from his seat. Everything I gave you, everything I did for you, and this is how you thank me. Sit down, the chief judge ordered. Any other outburst and we'll remove you from the courtroom. Takeshi sat, but his anger was obvious. Kenji's testimony continued, detailed and damning. He spoke about the family's operations, about Takeshi's crimes, about the corruption network. He was the perfect witness. He knew everything and was willing to say everything. And finally, it was my turn. Chapter 6. My testimony. I entered the courtroom, my heart pounding. Every eye in the room was on me. I sat in the witness stand, took the oath, then looked at the judges. Mr. Kaito Nakamura, the prosecutor began. Or should I say Mr. Marwan al-Sadiq? Marwan al-Sadiq is my real name, I said. I am a lawyer from Morocco. I came to Japan as a tourist. And how did you end up involved in all this? I told my story from the beginning. How I came to Tokyo as a tourist, how I met Yuki and she robbed me. How I went broke and got into a fight with Kenji, how I stole the motorcycle. I heard some laughter in the courtroom when I reached the motorcycle part. Even one of the judges smiled. And after the family arrested you, what happened? They offered me a choice, death or work for them. I chose life. I started working as a legal consultant for the family. But you weren't loyal to them, correct? No. I was looking for a way out. I was looking for something I could use to protect myself, and that's how I started gathering information. And how did you obtain the documents from the defendant's safe? I entered his office on a night when he was out of town. I opened the safe and photographed everything inside. Was anyone with you? No. I was alone. This was an agreed-upon lie. We had agreed to say that I was the one who entered alone, to protect Yuki and Kenji from additional charges. I was the foreigner, the least dangerous to the Japanese system. And what did you find in the safe? Documents proving years of corruption. Names of corrupt judges and officials, bribery records, documents about money laundering operations, and a video showing the defendant killing a government official. A wave of whispers spread through the courtroom. And what did you do with this information? I told Yuki and Kenji. We discovered that we all wanted the same thing, to bring down Takeshi Asakura, so we formed an alliance. And you decided to sabotage the big drug deal. Yes, we informed the police of the details and the raid took place. Thank you, Mr. Al-Sadiq. The prosecutor sat down and the defense lawyer stood up. He was a tall, thin man wearing expensive glasses and carrying himself with excessive confidence. He was known as one of the best lawyers in Japan, specializing in defending crime lords. Mr. Al-Sadiq, he began in a sarcastic tone. Or should I say, the thief? Objection, the prosecutor shouted. Sustained, the judge said. Rephrase your question. Very well, Mr. Al-Sadiq, you admitted to stealing a motorcycle, correct? Yes. And you admitted to illegally entering my client's office? Yes. So you are a criminal. I was desperate, but you're still a criminal, the lawyer insisted. And yet you expect this court to believe your testimony? I expect the court to look at the evidence, I said calmly. The documents I obtained are real. The video is real. I may be a criminal, but your client is a murderer and a corrupt individual. Objection, the defense lawyer shouted. But I continued before the judge could stop me. His documents proved that he bribed judges, police officers, politicians, killed innocent people, destroyed families. All of this is documented in his handwriting, in his voice, in his image. Enough, the judge said. Mr. Al-Sadiq, you must only answer the questions. I nodded, but I had said what I wanted to say. The lawyer tried to discredit my testimony for another hour, but I remained steadfast. I answered every question honestly, admitted my mistakes, but didn't back down from the basic truth. Takeshi Asakura was a dangerous criminal who must be held accountable. Finally, the questions ended. I left the witness stand and looked at Takeshi. He was staring at me with eyes full of pure hatred, but I wasn't afraid. I looked at him directly, then turned and left the courtroom. Chapter 7. The Verdict. The trial continued for another week after our testimonies. The prosecutor presented more evidence, other witnesses testified, experts analyzed the documents and videos. Takeshi's lawyers tried everything. They challenged the validity of the evidence, questioned the credibility of witnesses, presented witnesses to defend him, most of them his remaining men who lied brazenly. But the evidence was overwhelming. Every day the case against Takeshi became stronger. And finally, the day of sentencing came. Yuki, Kenji, and I were in a private room in the court watching on the screen. The courtroom was filled with people, journalists, officials, past victims of Takeshi's crimes, and even some former Yakuza members who came to see the boss's fall. The three judges entered and a solemn silence prevailed. The chief judge stood, a paper in his hand. After careful consideration of all the evidence and testimony presented, this court has reached its verdict. He paused and looked at Takeshi, who was standing, his face pale but defiant. Takeshi Asakura, you have been convicted of premeditated murder in the case of Kazu Asakura and Hiroshi Asakura. You have been convicted of premeditated murder in the case of Kenji Sakamoto Sr. You have been convicted of premeditated murder in the case of Yoshio Takahashi. The prosecutor, you have been convicted of dozens of charges related to corruption, bribery, money laundering, and organized crime. You have been convicted of possession and distribution of large quantities of drugs. The judge continued reading a long list of charges, each one condemning Takeshi further. Then came the sentence we had been waiting for. Based on the severity of the crimes committed, the number of victims, and the defendant's complete lack of remorse, this court sentences you to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The courtroom erupted with screams and applause, journalists running outside to break the news, victims crying with relief. I looked at Yuki and Kenji. Yuki was crying silently, tears of relief falling down her cheeks. Kenji gently placed his hand on her shoulder. On the screen, I saw Takeshi waver for a moment, then straighten up. Even in defeat, he tried to appear strong. But when the guards took him away, I saw the truth in his eyes: fear, despair, realization that he had lost everything. Takeshi Asakura's empire, which had been built on decades of blood and betrayal, had finally collapsed. Chapter 8. Farewell. After the verdict, we spent another week in Japan completing final legal procedures and preparing to leave. The police had arranged everything. I would go to Canada with a new identity, Yuki to Australia, Kenji to the United States. 3 different continents, 3 separate new lives. On the last night, we met for the final time at the same safe house where we had met before. "I can't believe it's all over," Yuki said, her voice full of mixed emotions. "It felt like this battle lasted my whole life." "Actually, it did last your whole life," Kenji said. "But it's over now. You can finally live for yourself." "And what will you two do?" I asked them. "When you start your new lives?" "I want to build something real," Kenji said. "Maybe open a security consulting office. Use my knowledge of crime to help innocent people. A kind of atonement for my past." "And I," Yuki said with a shy smile, "want to grow flowers. Literally. I want a small flower shop, a simple life far from all the violence and deception. I want to wake up every day and see beauty, not ugliness." They looked at me. "And I said, "want to use my legal expertise to help people who have no voice. Immigrants, refugees, the vulnerable. I want to fight for justice, but this time the right way, within the legal system. We all want the same thing in the end," Yuki said. "Redemption, a second chance. And we deserve it," I said. "After everything we've been through, we deserve peace." We stood, and for the last time we hugged each other. "I'll never forget you," Yuki whispered. "You two saved my life. You gave me purpose, identity, family. And we'll never forget you," Kenji said. "You're the strongest woman I've ever known." She looked at me. "And Marwan, I'm sorry. Sorry for what I did to you that night. If I could go back in time." "Don't apologize," I interrupted her. "Yes, what you did was wrong. But without it, I wouldn't have discovered a strength I didn't know I had. I wouldn't have met you two. I wouldn't have been part of something bigger than myself." She smiled with tears in her eyes. "Thank you." "No, thank you. You and Kenji taught me that true justice requires courage, sacrifice, and sometimes breaking the rules to reach the truth." I looked at Kenji. "And you taught me that even people who made mistakes can choose to do right. Redemption is always possible." "And you, Marwan," Kenji said, "taught us that the foreigner, the stranger, the person who doesn't belong can be the strongest warrior for justice. Because he's not afraid to challenge the system, because he owes loyalty only to the truth." We extended our hands together for the last time. "Together until the end," we said. Then we separated, knowing that we would most likely never meet again. Chapter 9. A New Beginning. 3 years passed. I am now in Vancouver, Canada. I live in a small apartment overlooking the Pacific Ocean. I work at a non-profit organization that helps refugees and immigrants navigate the Canadian legal system. My life is simple, quiet, safe. My friends know nothing about my past in Tokyo. To them, I'm just a nice Moroccan lawyer who loves helping people. But on some nights when I sit on my balcony and look at the ocean, I think about those days, about the fear, the excitement, the danger, the friendship. And I wonder about Yuki and Kenji. Are they okay? Did they find the peace they were looking for? I can't contact them, those are the rules. But sometimes I search the internet for news from Australia or America, hoping to see something, a sign, a marker, anything that tells me they're okay. And one night I found something. It was a small article in a local Australian newspaper about a small flower shop that won a local award for the most beautiful flower arrangements. The shop owner, a young Japanese woman named Misaki Takahashi, a different name from her previous alias. They probably gave her a completely new identity after the trial. There was no clear photo, but in the background I saw a woman with short hair smiling as she arranged a bouquet of colorful flowers. I smiled. Yuki found her peace. And a few weeks later I found another article from New York about a new security consulting firm specializing in helping small businesses protect themselves from organized crime. The company's founder, a man named Hiro Taniguchi, another new name. Apparently they took the family name from the journalist who helped us. In a small photo on the company's website, I saw a man wearing a suit, smiling confidently. He looked different from the Kenji I knew, but the eyes were the same. And he too found his way. And me? I found something I didn't expect to find, a real-life purpose. Every day I help someone in need. Every case I win, I feel like I'm making a small difference in the world. I'm no longer that naive tourist who came to Tokyo years ago. I've become someone stronger, wiser, more compassionate. My experience in Tokyo, despite all the pain and fear, made me the person I am now, and I'm grateful for that.